Hi guys, Dave here, and today I'm going to show you how to play the guitar solo and the outro to Bark at the Moon. The guitarist, of course, was Mackie Onyx, and this was one of my favourite things that came out around that era. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. It's got a lot of kind of classic 80s metal kind of lead ideas in here, and yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this. Okay, so to start off with, the solo is in the key of D minor, so for the majority of it he's using the D minor pentatonic, and he's also using the natural minor scale, or Aeolian mode if you think of it in those terms. Okay, let's get into the first phrase. Okay then, so that first phrase, one thing that you'll notice with his vibrato, it's very wide, very typical for that kind of era of metal guitar playing in general. So that very first one, give it a very wide vibrato on the B string there, then bend up a whole step, then come down to pentatonic, another whole step bend there. We're going to bend, release, and then pull off onto 10th fret there on the G string. Back up, and then when we go back down to the 10th fret, he does a little pinched harmonic. In general, when you're coming across these pinched harmonics, don't worry if you don't get them every time. I think generally speaking, he just digs in when he feels like it. So that sometimes it's good to work out where those kind of sweet spots are, though, for those pinched harmonics. For me, it's usually floating around the middle pickup on this Ibanez. So you've just got to kind of work your way and find out where yours is. That's a good one for me. Okay, so I've just done the pinched harmonic. Then a couple of more notes from the natural minor. And a little pull off. So yeah, mainly pentatonic. When you're going down to 9th fret, we're borrowing from the natural minor there. Okay, the next phrase. Just take that much. Pretty much pentatonic. Sometimes when he's on the bass strings, he very lightly palm mutes it. I think that's just where he's just resting his hand, and that's just the effect it gives you. So. So when we get to the 12th fret on that lick there, we're just bending up a whole step. Same thing as before, you bend it, release it, pull off onto the 10th fret, and then play 12. Now this is... It's basically sliding from the A note on the G string all the way up, and then playing these last two notes on 13B and 15E. I don't think it really matters too much where you slide that note from. I don't think he's really thinking about it. I think it's just an effect. So yeah, but that's where I notated it from. I think as long as you're kind of from a low part of the neck, you're going to get the right effect. Incidentally, what makes that easier for me is if I slide with my second finger, then it means that I can land on my first finger for that part. So it just makes that part of the run a little bit easier. Next phrase. Let's just take that much. So basically natural minor. Little hammer pull off here. And then here, I'm just picking and sliding in. Then the next phrase. So there you are. Those two. These last three notes are spelling out a D minor chord, so that's probably what he's thinking about, just playing a little bit of an arpeggio there. And we get this little run. This is nice. So actually the first bit again, it's D minor arpeggio, and then we've got a pull off there, then another pull off, and then a pull off on the B string there. Now this one, again, you can think of this as minor pentatonic if you want. He's bending up 3 frets, or a step and a half. Releasing, pulling off onto 13, and then going back to 15, and then he's kind of pinching harmonic there again. Like so. Okay, this phrase, minor pentatonic. So for that, bend out a whole step on the B string. Little pull off there on the B string again. Whole step on the G string there. Then roll a bar on the 10th fret. And then pull off. Another pull off. Then back on the 12th fret, bend up a whole step and release. Pull off onto 10, onto the D string, back up. Again, a little kind of roll of the 3rd finger for me does that. Little pinched harmonic on the 10 there. Pull off. Like so. Next phrase is a little bit easier, well, a lot easier in fact. I'll take it up to there. It's basically, this really does spell out the natural minor scale, so just in nice long notes. Pretty much adds vibrato to all of them because they're nice and long. Then we get this kind of like bluesy rock lick. So when I'm playing that, again up at 10th position, typical pentatonic land. Get a little double stop there with the 1st finger. Back to the D string. Back to the double stop. Now when I do this one, I use fingers 3 and 4. I'll just give it a little bend and release. And then pull off onto my 1st finger on the 10th fret. And then back to the D string, so it's like that. And then for the next 2 double stops, I just bar with my 3rd finger, then 1st. So let's put that phrase together actually. Okay, now we get into the alternate picked runs. I would say that Jakey Lee is a strict alternate picker rather than an economy picker. Put my teeth in. And when I listen to the run, again, on the bass strings it sounds like it's mainly palm muted. And then as he gets onto the treble strings, not so much. So I think it's just like the natural position of his picking hand. So when you watch him play, he did tend to play, his palm was definitely near the bridge when he did a lot of this sort of stuff. So anyway, the first bit, and this is all natural minor. Now over the first chord, which is a B flat, he's actually starting on a B flat note, and he's playing a little sequence of 4s. And you'll find that for all of these runs that we're going to do. So the pattern is basically this. He plays a scale note, he goes down 1, returns, and then plays the next note up. Like that. And he's basically just playing a sequence starting on the next note and does the same thing. So it starts on the B flat, the next one starts on the D, then he starts on the F, then on the A, then on the C, then the E, and then he finishes by sliding into the G note. So that's the first one. Like so. What else would I add to this? Just as a general tip, when you're learning these sort of longer runs, one thing is to kind of break up the run when you're learning it, but also when it's in fours like this, I tend to, when I was learning it, I was kind of making a little accent on each first group of four, and it just makes it a little bit easier to kind of keep your bearings. So I think you'll find that it'll help you if you've not done much of this sort of thing before. It will definitely help you kind of get it under your fingers. And also be patient with it, take it nice and slow and build your speed up gradually. Okay, the next run, which is over a C chord, he starts on a C note, and again he's just going through the same scale, but starting on the C. Then the E, then the G, then the B flat, D, F, and then sliding into A. Then the last of these sorts of runs, it's actually over an A chord, but he's starting on a D note. And it's a slightly longer sequence, but it's the same idea. So starting on D, F, then the A, C, then the E, G, B flat, and then goes up to a D, then plays that again, then the E, and then we're into a different sequence. So I'll just play that last one again. Okay, and then we're into this last little run. Basically, he's squeezing these notes into 2 beats. It's the best way to describe it. I've written it as a group of 6 and then 5, but really he's just playing these as fast as he can, and he's kind of targeting top notes. So he'll start on this one, which is an F, do a little pull off, little double pull off, then everything else is alternate picked. And I found this was easier if I started the next part of the run with a downstroke, like that. So little pull off, then start with a down, and then it just made it easier for me to target the next 2 beats, because I knew I was going to start on a downstroke again, like so. And then the same thing when I go up to the 17th fret on the A, or the A note I should say, and then the last one up to the B flat. This isn't quite as long a run. It ends on the G note, and the reason being is that he's going to now hit the A, and he does this. And as he's playing this A note, he starts to dig in and hitting pinched harmonics along with it. Interestingly, the rhythm that he's playing over that bit, it's basically 3 quaver lengths or beat and a half long each time. So it's almost like a polyrhythm. So he's playing over 4s, but he's playing, yeah, he's displacing each a beat and a half. You'll hear it more clearly when you hear the slow play through. And that takes you to the end of the guitar solo. Okay, the outro is actually in A, or A minor. So he changes key, and this is basically, I suppose, what you call the chorus chords section. So you get a bar of A minor, then it's G major, F major, and then E major. And basically what he's doing for the end sequence is he's playing arpeggios, but he's got this little pattern that he does. So the first is a group of 4. So he picks, pulls off, and then plays these 2 notes. And I go down and then down up on this. I think this is the way he would have done it. Then the next group is a group of 6. So he does a double pull off, then those 2 notes, down, up. And then does that group of 6 again. And that fills up an entire bar. I'll do that again. So again, it might help you to accent the groups. So you've got a group of 4, then the group of 6, 2 groups of 6. And if you accent the first ones, that might help you to kind of get it under your fingers. And he basically does the same idea for each arpeggio. So the next one is like a G major arpeggio, that group of 4, and then 2 groups of 6. Now the next one is over the F chord, and it's basically an F major 7. Now the way he plays it is a bit of a stretch. I'll show you the way he does it. So there he's pulling off, you know, between the little finger and the second finger from 17 to 13, and he's reaching down to the 10th fret on the G string. Like that. You could, if you didn't want to do that stretch, which is pretty horrible, and I haven't got the biggest hands, so this is a real effort for me to do it. You could replace that 10th fret, which is an F, and skip a string and play it on the 15th fret of the D. So that's an option if you don't want to play it exactly the way he does it. And then the other one he does, which is over the E, he does like this. He pulls off again on the B string between 15 and 12, and then the low note he's playing is on the 9th fret of the G string. Again, you could make that easier and played 14th fret on the D instead. So you could end up with something like this. And all you've got to get used to is that little skip between the strings. Like I say, I thought I'd show it the way he actually does it. I think there is a video of him demonstrating it as well. So maybe he did it because it looked good on stage, you know, with the big stretches, looks impressive. Or maybe it's just that he didn't want to have to skip strings and he just wanted to keep the picking sequence the same for all of them. Could be that. So there you go. Then he goes through those 4. Well, he goes back to the A minor, plays that sequence again, and the G. Same thing for the F. And then he does this little rundown in D minor. Oh. Sorry, in A minor. So for that, I play the notes. I pick all of those, and then do a little double pull off, and then do a 4-note hammer pull off, and then pick pull off, and then pick pull off. Quite hard to tell exactly what it is on the record, but I got a feeling that's the way he would have tackled it. Then he's going to play through that entire 8-bar sequence again, and then he just finishes on an A note. So the very last time. So the first time he goes round, he's straight back into the arpeggio patterns. And then the second time he just simply ends on an A, and that ends the track. Okay, I thought as a bit of fun it would also be good to show you the harmony guitar part that goes along with that. This one's going to be a little bit easier and less of a stretch. So again, this is kind of basically harmonising in thirds. I'm doing this on strings 1 and 2. It makes the whole thing a lot easier. So that's over the A minor. Then over the G, it's making it more of a G7. I'll do that again. Like so. Then the next one, which is over the F. It's interesting harmony this, because you've got two notes that are out of F major 7, but then you've got this G, which makes it sound more like a F major 9, I suppose. And then this is pure E major, with a little bar on the first fret, with the first finger. So that's the one that goes over the E. Then again, we go through that entire sequence, but on the second time through, instead of playing the E, he's going to do this little scale rundown. Like so. So, and I pick and pull it off exactly the same way. Right, they're all picked on the first string, then a double pull off, and then I just pick the first of those 4, then pick, pull off, pick, pull off. And I'm also going to end this one on the final time through on the A note as well. On the record, I don't think he actually harmonised that last note. He made them both A notes. Like so. Okay, sound wise, I'm pretty sure he probably used Marshalls, and to get enough drive I would imagine he did put an overdrive pedal in front of it. What I'm doing sound wise is I'm using my Line 6 Helix. I've got a model of a Boss Super Overdrive pedal. It's going into a model of a Marshall. I think it's the Bright or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was called. So it's basically a Marshall amp. On the record also, it's worth noting that he uses a phaser, probably something like a MXR Phase 90 or something along those lines. I don't know the exact model, but I'll show you what that sounds like. Really actually sounds great. If I put it on, really does bring out like the pick lines really nicely. That, especially when they're kind of palm muted, it's a really nice effect. And it also adds a lot when you're adding vibrato. It kind of gives it that nice sound. Yeah, so it's a really nice effect to add onto a lead guitar sound. And also, you know, the arpeggios, they look really nice as well. And that's basically the sound that he uses for the solo and the outro as well. I mean, as far as the rhythm guitars go, I don't think it used phaser on that. I think it just had a really dry Marshall sound for that. But certainly for the lead parts that we're looking at today, that phaser really makes a difference and really gives it the sound that you're after. Okay guys, I hope you get a lot from this lesson. I hope you have a lot of fun learning this one. It's quite a challenge. There's lots of stretchings and there's a lot of kind of fast alternate pick runs in this, which are, you know, I found challenging, but I found more the stretch is more of the challenge than the picking, being fair, or being honest about what I found difficult. Yeah, okay guys, I hope you get a lot from it, and I'll see you again real soon.